Hello guys, welcome back. In this video, let's go through the dashboards in Databricks. If you go into the playlist or the series of videos I'm creating in the free edition of Databricks, the last one was about the Databricks journey. I highly recommend you to watch the previous videos to know more about Databricks free edition, but feel free to jump directly into this video. Also, if you are just looking for this particular video. And also to point out, I have created this 30 days of Databricks video. It was 1 year old videos on the playlist, but many things might be still relevant. You might consider viewing some of the videos from here if you find some of those helpful for your context. But in this video, let's jump into it. If you see here on the left side, here is the dashboard. I will go inside the dashboard. This is a completely introductory video. If you haven't used any dashboard before in Databricks, I will navigate you through the UI so that you get to create your own dashboards. This is the view when you first go here. And there are two examples also here. There is the featured and there are provided. Before creating our own dashboards, I want to show you how it is done already. Let me go to one of these. Here is a workspace uses dashboard, and the next one is retail revenue and supply chain. Let's go into the first one. You can see this is the dashboard that Databricks has already provided. By looking into the dashboard, you can see that we can have some filters here. Here is this title. We can have this kind of things here. This is the chart. Here is the stacked, many things there and so on. You can see here, this is one. You can go to 2, 3, 4, 5, meaning that in some cases, if the data is not in one simple view, you can go into multiple pages. And if you see here, ask Jenny follow-up questions using natural language for that particular dashboard. All the places you can see Jenny, and then if you go to these three dots, you can see ask Jenny full view, full screen, copy link to the widget, download into Excel, TSV, CSV, download PNG, and you can even view the data set. Why I'm showing you this is, let's say that you want to view what the dashboard is powered by. If you go into this, for example, you can see view data set. Here are multiple data sets or SQL queries. The reason why I'm showing this is because in each of those dashboards, there will be certain data set under the hood, but then there are some of the queries. This is one of the query for orders and customers, and you can have multiple SQL queries. What I'm trying to say is that the dashboard can be created by SQL queries, and that is pointed to this particular output of this SQL query. And also this is not just a dashboard, it is AI BI dashboard, meaning that you can ask in natural language and the dashboard, or let's say under the hood, it will try to create the dashboard for us based on the question that we provide. Just to give you a high level overview of what it is all about. Now let me go to the main page. Let's create our own simple dashboard in this case so that you get the idea. I will just go here. You can see there are view sample gallery, and on the drop down also here is create dashboard and import dashboard from file. You can even import the dashboard here. Let's create a dashboard. Once you click this create dashboard, you can see the select a widget to configure. On the left side, you can see the data. Click data tab to get going. That is the first step. Here it is saying that create a data set for your dashboard by writing your own SQL query or selecting an existing table. You can even do that. And the second step is add a visualization or filter to your canvas. Select a total, then drag and draw to create your first dashboard widget. And now this is the place where we will be focusing on. Here is the move icon where you can move here and there. Second one is add visualization. We need to go into this one, add a text box where we can write the title and so on. That is add a text box. By the way, this follows markdown, so it's quite easy for us to write the text into the dashboard. And here is the filter. In dashboards, it makes relevant if you have multiple filters, so you can filter the dashboard. One thing to point out, this is the new feature, is that you can have multiple tabs into the dashboard. You can just give the name here. I will just give it later, or we can do it now. We can say here, this is the first dashboard. Let's start from here. You can just click these three dots. You can clone, delete, rename, or say here, this is the first dashboard. and you can clone this and then work on it, or you can just go here plus icon and there is a new one, meaning you can have multiple side by side dashboards. It was not possible before. This is a new feature introduced by dashboard. You can move left, move right, based on where it is. Let me delete this for now. Now let's go into the data, as it is suggesting that we need to go here. From here it says add data to get going. On the left side you can see there is already a Unity catalog to know which tables we have. From here we can see the things, but what I want to do is here there is three options. One, you can upload the file. Second, you can add the data source. Third, you can create from SQL. As we already have the data, I'm going to use the same Titanic dataset to demonstrate how it works. Here I can say here create from SQL. When I do this create from SQL, you can see there is now the SQL editor popping up here, so we can have our query here. Here you can see result tab, schema, and so on. There is custom calculations, all sorts of things. But here this is the default workspace. We can go here and we can go to workspace. From here we can go to Titanic datasets. That means we are into the schema level here, and now this is the Unity catalog 3 level schema. Please watch my previous videos if you are completely new into that. But here now I can say select all from, and then you can see if I just type select all from Titanic, what is the name of the table? Here is 2 level hierarchy, but this is Titanic dataset, but I don't know the name of the table. What I can do now is I can go here on the left side. Before we need to go to catalog and so on, but now there is this catalog just sitting behind here. I can go into the workspace. This is the Titanic dataset I have here. I can go inside it, and now there is a table called Titanic. I just want to check before writing the query so that I'm into it. And inside this there are different columns. Now I can say here select all from Titanic, and then I can limit 100 and run this query. This is similar to the one that I showed you before about the SQL editor. And now we will have our answer here, and you can see the serverless warehouse is being started, and now we have this answer. Now I can go back to this data set list, and here you can see there is this untitled dataset. This is the dataset now that we can use. I can just go to 3 dots, rename it, and I can say here all columns Titanic. You get the point. You can create more SQL queries or the table, all the data sets in this way. Then you can create the dashboards on top of that data set. That is the point here. Now we created one, and we will be working on this one just for this demo. It's easier for me to explain. Now we can see here this is all columns Titanic. Now I can go into the first dashboard to look into these two things here. Notice the 2 tabs. I was in the dashboard before. I went into the table. I first created the data sets from the table that we have in our Unity catalog, and now I can create the dashboard. This is the second step. Then I can go here, add a visualization. I will click this, and you can see now I have this movable placeholder to have my dashboard. Where do I want to have the dashboard? On the right side or left side, down here, or whatever. I can just sit here. Here I have the dashboard. Once I have the dashboard, you can see that it knows what table or data set it has under the hood. How did I know that? Because once I click this and keep it here, you can see on the right side it says the data set you have currently to create the dashboard is the one you just created. All column Titanic. You can have the title, descriptions, and so on. Another thing is that it says the bar chart. You can go into the x-axis, you can go into the y-axis. There is the color also that you want to go into. Then you can see all sorts of things here. There is the tool tip also here. Let me click here, and then there is the labels also if you want to have the labels. And then there is this annotations here, all sorts of things. But let's say that in the x-axis I want to have these, let's say male, female kind of things on the x-axis. You can see there is male and female, and then in the y-axis you can have the age. How many are there? 843, and there are 1.3k. mails, and I want to, let's say, have the labels. So if I go here, you can see there is the label here, 843 and 1299. You can go here and do all sorts of things. Let's say I want to have different color. I can go here and change the color. This is the simplest way you can do. And if you, so the right additional things appears once you are inside that placeholder. And here is the annotations also. This is the horizontal and this is the vertical. You can see here now not supported for this chart type, meaning it goes into the chart type and understands, okay, what type of informations can be used into this. Let's put the title. For the title, what we can say is sum of age based on sex. That is it. We have it one here. Now let's create by writing the natural language. I can again go here. I can click here. I will bring it here. And now here is the suggested things also being provided. Fare counter, distribution of passengers, age distribution of passengers, and gender distribution, and so on. So we can say, let's say, age distribution of passengers. We asked itself to create. Now it says here count of age is 87, count of age is, so it does not looks quite good. If you think that it is not good, what you can do is you can just to reject, I don't like this, right? And then also you can say survival rate by class, for example. Now you can see, because not all the time the queries will be correct and the dashboard looks good. You need to provide quite good description. Here I just took the description provided for me, but one thing also, I can now do accept. Now you can see this is being accepted and you can now play around with it. And there is these 3 dots here. You can cut, copy, delete, clone, all sorts of things. Now what I want to do is the easiest thing. I will do Control C. That is how you copy. I can go into the new dashboard and do Control V. You can see I just copied something from one dashboard into another, and now you can modify all sorts of things. This is also recently introduced and I really like this functionality because not everything can go in one dashboard. It will be quite big and you want to customize it in a way that you want to have certain things in one page and certain things in another page and so on. This is also easy way how you can play around with this. Now you get the point. One, you can create it yourself. Another one is you can just ask the assistant to create for you. And then from here, as we did before, you can change the color. So let's say I want to have this different color. Yeah, you get the point. Now we have this add visualizations tab. Now what we can do is, let's say that we want to have some filters. I just want to show you all of these things here so you get the point. Or before going into the filter, let's put the filter first. And now you can see I have this small placeholder, and the filters is always good if you have on the top. Let me bring this chart down. So you can see you can just drag the charts from here like this. If you go on top of these charts, there is the widget title. You can give the widget title as you want. Here is the filters, whatever filter you want to have. You can have single value, you can have multiple values, you can have date picker, date range picker, text entry, range slider, and so on. You can see this is being asked here, okay, fields and parameters. In the fields, you can see what you want to have. I can maybe have the age. You can see age filter is being here, mean and max. So I can just filter this. You can see it is being changed based on the filter. I can have here all sorts of things. You can give the mean and max. Maybe I want to have the mean as 40 and the max as 60. Now you can see there is the mean and max 40 and 60. Adding parameters is only available for single value and date picker controls. You know that, okay, I cannot have the parameters and so on. You see that there is a default values 40 and 60. Now we have the age. It is automatically taken here, the title. If I go here, this is the title. And now it says 40 and 60. This is 40 and this is 60. Now I can just play around with this. Let's say that I want to have this a little bit 50, something like this. Okay, 51, 1.3. You can see this is being changed based on this. Now you can see we have the filter here. And from here you can play around with this, or maybe you want to have additional filter, you can just go here, and from here you can have multiple values. Or now let's say we want to have single values, and from the single values we want to have, let's say, fair, right? And what is the default value? Allow all. Here you can see what is the fair. This is the picker. I just want to have all, so you can see all the values. And now I can go here and maybe I want to see 9.50. You can see it is being reflected. If I have 7.23, it is being reflected here. If I just want to have maybe, let's say, 263, you can see it is being filtered based on this. This is just a simple example, but you see that in the real world you can have all sorts of filter based on your particular data set. I can just go here and cancel. The filter is gone. I don't have this 40 and 60. I can just do this, then it will be picking up the mean and max from the data set itself. Now let me show you the add a text box. If I go here, now you can see I can add the text box again here. And I want to show you one cool thing here. In the dashboard, you might want to have some image of the company logo or whatever. How to do it? As I said before, this is the text box, meaning that it follows this markdown kind of thing. Here, if I do this, this is the heading. Here I can say this is the Titanic dataset exploration, right? And if I do this and if I do preview, you can see Titanic dataset exploration, because this is the markdown. And how to use the image, that is one thing. I can go to the next line and let me say that I want to have something here. I will go to my YouTube channel here and I want to have the logo of my YouTube channel. I will right click here, open image in a new tab. Here is the link for the image. I will just copy this. This is just a simple example. You can use all sorts of things. I will go here and there is a way how you can write the markdown to display the image. So you need to have the exclamation and the text. Here I can say data science basics. This is just a simple example for you. Then you can paste the link with this one. You can see here I have this data science basics. There is this exclamation here and then I pasted the link. Now if I do preview, you can see here is the logo of my YouTube channel. You can provide your logo. I think this looks good. I can now drag like this. Now you can see I have this Titanic dataset exploration and the logo. This is just a simple example. Here is the filter. Let me make this bigger again. Now you can see there are the filters. If the hand is here, you can have this on the right side, this on the left side, and so on. Now you can see we have a simple dashboard, how you can create with the help of natural language as well as your own filter. Now let's go into additional functionality. I showed you all of these things, simple dashboard, filters, and so on. Once you create this, you can publish this. If you click this publish, there are all sorts of things. Embed credentials default, meaning share data permissions. There are two ways you can do this. All viewers of the published dashboard use your data permissions to run the queries. This enables a shared cache which can improve performance. The next one is don't embed credentials, meaning that each viewer of a published dashboard uses their own data permission to run the queries. This can lead to more frequent refresh operations. So you can choose which one, and then here it says notify the viewers. People with at least view permissions can see the published dashboards. And here you can notify the viewers. There is additional functionality also now called enable Genie. This is in the beta. It says Genie is a no-code tool that I created the video previously. Then this one, you can enable Genie from here. You can just click enable Genie. And here auto-generated Genie space. Genie is here. A link existing Genie. If you already have the Genie space, you can link that here. And you say publish. Now we went to the next one. It says warehouse is starting. It needs the warehouse to be started. And it says here, do you want information about permissions? Here you can see this is the admin. This is only me now. So I can manage and so on. If you click here, you can see this is the admin. This is the all workspace users. You can go to all workspace users. And here you can see what you want to do. Can view and so on. If you just want others to view, then you can say, okay, can view it. And if you want them to also run and so on, all sorts of things can be configured from here. Individual includes email groups and so on. You can get the information from here also. Once you publish this, there is a possibility to copy the link and provide, but also you can go outside of the Databricks world to embed this dashboard. I will create separate video for this so that it makes sense, because I want to explain how you can delete it, how you can embed it, and so on. There is also a possibility to embed outside Databricks for users in applications. Maybe you are writing a Confluence documentation and so on. You want to embed this dashboard there. I'll create next video, but then now I will say add. Now you can see this is being published successfully. Here it says view published. This is in the draft mode so that I can modify the changes. Now I want to view the published mode because we already published this. Here you can see there is this view published and it was published the date and time. But before publishing, let me change the title here. This is also the Titanic dashboard. I just want to give this Titanic dashboard simple name here, but you can now go and view the published. Now we are in the edit mode. See the differences. This is in the draft mode. Now I want to go into the published, view published. Just click this one. Now this is the draft mode. You can see here I cannot now, but there is the thing how I can ask the Jenny to follow up questions using natural language, or even there is this ask Jenny follow up questions using natural language button here. I can just click this one and now you can see on the sidebar that it already suggested me some questions which are similar to the Jenny space that I showed you in my last video. But this will be just for this particular dashboard. It says ask Jenny about the data in this dashboard. Now you have a dashboard as well as the Jenny space on top of it. So you get the idea how to ask the questions on top of this particular data set also. One additional thing you can do is if you go here, you can see there is this schedule. You can click on this one and now you can see here is a way to schedule. It says no existing schedules found. You can click this schedule and now you can give the name of the schedule and the time of this one. What is the time zone that you want to provide? Apply the filters, use default values or use filter selections. And also here is a SQL warehouse. So which warehouse you want to use. By this way you can have the dashboard being refreshed on that particular schedule. Here is the icon also that you can just click this and it will be refreshed. It says 59 minutes ago, but now you can see it being refreshed here. The refreshed version will be shown here. You can see here it says 10 seconds or 20 seconds ago based on the time. After you do all sorts of things, you can add it to the favorites. Now you can go back to the dashboard. Just click the dashboards again. You can see the dashboard being shown here and it is in the favorites. You can go to the favorites and get your dashboard here and also all sorts of things. Last 24 hours, last 7 days, who is the owner of this one and so on. You can just filter from this UI itself. I hope you learned something new from this video. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.